the first part is introduction. The Tourism Industry Act 1992 is an act to provide for the licensing and regulation of tourism enterprises and for matters incidental thereto or connected therewith. This act be enacted by the Sri Paduka Baginda Yang di-Pertuan Agong with the advice and consent of the Dewan Negara and Dewan Rakyat in Parliament assembled and by the authority of the same. Based on the Section 3 in the Act, power to designate tourism training institutions, which is the Minister may, by notification in the Gazette, designate any training institution as a tourism training institution for the purposes of the Act. As for the Section 4, the Commissioner of Tourism, the Secretary General shall be appointed as the Commissioner of Tourism, who shall be responsible for the general supervision of all matters relating to tourism under this Act. The Commissioner may, in composing, appoint the work out of any or all of the powers and capacities conferred upon him by this Act to any open officer as he considers fit. Next is the content of the topic. Part 2 of the Act, which is licensing of tourism enterprises. Tourism enterprises to be licensed. Next, submission of application for license to the Commissioner. Grant or refusal to grant license. Next is the revocation of license. The next is appeal. Next is the surrender of license, effect of revocation, surrender or expiry of license, return of license, and restriction on use of word tour. Next is the part 3, which is requirements and duties on licensed tourism enterprises. First, requirement to display license. Next, duty to submit information and particulars relating to business operations. Next is inbound and outbound tours and other business activities. Next is the notification of change of information. Next is the requirements as to advertisement. And employment of licensed tourist guides. And the last one is use of excursion vehicles. Next is the part 4, which is licensing of tourist guides. First, persons providing services as tourist guides to be licensed. Register. Next is the application for license and qualification of applicants. Next is the grant of license. Next, validity of license. Authorization card. The duties imposed upon licensed tourist guides. Next is the suspension of revocation of license. Next is the effect of suspension or revocation of license. Next is the right to appeal. Next is the surrender of license and authorization card. As for the part 4A, registration of accommodation premises, which is include accommodation premises shall be registered. Application for registration as tourist accommodation premises. Power of Commissioner to determine registration and the register. As for the fifth part, which is general, includes renewal of license, lost licenses, power of Minister to make regulations, obligation of secrecy, inaccurate declaration, general penalty, liability of directors, power to compel offences, authorized officer, power to investigate, power to examine witnesses, admissibility of statement, search without warrant, search with warrant, list of things seized, additional powers, obstruction of search, and the last one is conduct of prosecution.
Okay, now I would like to thank you, my friends, and I will talk about my part, which is an important point of this act and the advantage of this act. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Chua Guang Chen, and my metric number is 281310. Let's just proceed and not waste our time. Okay, Tourism Industry Act 1992 is the act to provide for licensing and regulations of tourism enterprise, as well as to deal with the matters connected to licensing and regulations in tourism industries. Okay, for the tourism enterprise means in here is tour operations business, travel agency businesses, also have our institutions that provide tourism training. Okay, tourism enterprises, like just now I say, the tour operation business, which is organizing or conduct for sales and commissions inbound and outbound. Okay, next is travel agencies businesses, like selling and arranging accommodation place to the people that want to travel. Okay, and next is the institutions that provide tourism training, which is an institutions that provide training in or provides training or course in respect of tourism industries. Okay, next is sections 5. Okay, the tourism industries 1992 sections 5 is talk about all tourist businesses require a license, and anybody who found in violation of this regulation may face criminal and civil penalties. Okay, the penalties is to fine not exceeding 50,000 or to imprisonment for a term that is not existing for 5 years or both, which is fine 50 not existing 50,000 and 5 year in prison. Okay, next, in the case of continued offense, if the persons that are found to be continued violence this regulations will be liable to a daily fine which is not exceeding 5,000 each day the offense continues to committed. If the people is continue committed the crime, we're going to fine 5,000 every day. Okay, next is sections 8, which is revocations of license. Okay, tourist license may be revoked on the following grounds, which is the first one is fails to comply with the obligations under this act, which is tourism industry 1992. Okay, next, the second one is failures to comply with license requirements. Okay, next is supplying false and misleading and inaccurate informations like documents, statement, which can misleading a person's to be buy or causing any misleading or situations. Okay, next is carry out businesses in a way that is detrimental to the public, the tourist sectors, which is our tourism, okay, or the national economic, will be revoked of their license. Okay, next is the licensed tourist business does not have enough assets to cover its obligations, which another meaning is if the tourist enterprise does not have enough money to cover their liability, we're going to get revocations of their license. Okay, next is for any continuous periods of 6 months, the licensed tourist company has not transacted any business in respect of which is licensed, or it has ceased to carry on any of business or activities for which is licensed, also can be revocations of their license. And next is second last is the court has orders that the tourism enterprise to be closed down. We're going to revocations of their license. And lastly, has been convicted of a crime involving dishonest, fraud, or moral turpitude by a court of competent jurisdiction. Okay, now I will talk about advantage of this act. Okay, the first main there are 3 type of advantage in this act, which is the first one is ensures every tourism enterprise are licensed. Okay, If not, they can charge the enterprise or any persons with 50,000 ringgit, or not existing 5 years, or both. Okay. Next is prevent us to getting fraud by unlicensed tourist enterprise. And the last one is can revocations the license of the tourism enterprise that are not following the term and conditions. Okay, that's all for me. Now I will pass it to my friends to continue with their part. Thank you.
So now I will present about any cases related to the Tourism Industry Act 1992. Okay, as we know, there are many content include in Tourism Industry Act 1992. So one of the important thing highlighted in this act is about the safety and the security in the Malaysia tourism industry. So one of the issue is very important and also highlighted under Tourism Industry Act 1992 is about the safety and security in Malaysia tourism industry. Many cases related to our Malaysia tourism. One of the issue is the twin incident of Malaysia airline system flight in a period of 4 months have resulted in a huge drop in the tourist numbers for our country. And next, also one of the cases can be related about our Malaysia tourism regarding the safety and security is about the missing of MH370, with most of passenger on the plane is Chinese, and which is there are many tourists from Chinese on the plane. So because of these cases, about 30,000 potential tourists from the Chinese have cancelled their holiday package to Malaysia until 2015. And one of the cases can be related also is the tragedy of MH17, which is shut down in Ukraine on July, are not put Malaysia's competency and governance under the spotlight to same degrees as in MH370, and the effect, and even though the effect not be serious like MH370, but overall was negative. The conclusion is this act was enacted to provide for the licensing and regulation of tourism enterprises, and for matters incidental thereto or connected with our Malaysia tourism industry. So for any tourist agencies or any authority that which is irresponsible or takes lightly about the matters that cover in our act will be punished, which is by follow the prescribed law. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Rashida binti Azhar and my magic number is 271924. Today, I would like to share with you guys about our recommendation. Due to public health and safety issues, the businesses in this tourism industry may face severe inspections and legal action. Before they can begin functioning, any hospitality establishment, from restaurants to the hotels and bars, must be properly licensed. And because of that, the business owner must display their business license in their storefronts or on the company websites to develop the customer trust and ensure that their customer can shop with them without fear or being scammed. According to Farah Solhi, the Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents MATA has petitioned the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture to alter and repeal the Tourism Industry Act 1992 fourth schedule. According to MATA President Datuk Tan Kok Leong, the section of the schedule titled Travellers Outbound Terms and Conditions had grown outdated in terms and conditions as seen by the current COVID-19 pandemic. He also stated that they have tried repeatedly for the past 6 years to alter or cancel, but nothing has changed. Such outdated terms should not be used to stifle tourism. He also stated that this itinerary was created long before the outward travel was fully developed. Everything has changed now, and they must adjust to the new reality. The outdated fourth schedule, according to Tan Kok Leong, has put the travel agents in a bind, especially after the outbreak of COVID-19 in late December 2019. The ministry said that they are now exposed to a potential liability of around RM500 million from customers seeking compensation, regardless of the various service providers' cancellation and refund policies, while the travel agent has suffered in forking out their money to pay for the requested refund. Tan believes that allowing the travel brokers to operate freely is the best solutions because consumers are properly protected by the existing rules. The COVID-19 epidemic resulted in widespread travel cancellation and significant losses for the tourism industry. And that's all from our group. Thank you.